What's up, guys? This is the Osmo.com Night Shift Podcast, talking a 15-game MLB slate for Tuesday, September 4th. Lots to talk about. We're going to get into it in a second. We will have the spotlight hitters, pitchers, and stacks, as well as Osmo's top stack article, being it is a Tuesday. We will have From A to B with Andrew Barron and Ben Raza. What else? The Process Show, the MLB Strategy Show. Lots of great content in video form pretty much all day now. So bringing in these FanVice guys, they know their stuff. They're really good players, and they're just good at what they do, and that's providing really good content. So let's get into this. Ownership projections, rankings, all that stuff you guys know if you've been listening this season. All right, 15 games. Let's go Cardinals and Nationals. We have Miles Michaelis going up against Eric Fede. Michaelis, 8,200. Not interested in him. I'm looking at some lefty power against him. He's got an over 25% line drive percentage against lefties this year. It's really his one weakness is hard contact against lefties. I think he's a fine pitcher overall, but I really want to play Harper and Soto in this matchup. Fede is 5,300. He's going to get a lot of righties. I think he's going to be in play for me just because he threw 83 pitches on the 30th, so he's on full rest. If things go well, I think he could get up 85, 90 pitches here, and he's 5,300. He's at home. He's a favorite. And that's the reason I'm looking to play Fede. I don't think he is great, although he is getting more swinging strikes at the AAA level over his last few starts. So some interest in him. I'm not going to go crazy with him, but when I'm getting below Beeks, it will come in the form of Eric Fede. Reds and Pirates, we've got Cody Reed going up against Joe Musgrove. Reed is 5K. I'm assuming he'll gain some steam as well, but I'm not really in love with it. So he threw 73 pitches at his last start. Someone that will probably come up in my player pool, but I don't really like him that much as a pitcher. Just 20% K rate, 402 xFIP is fine, but the sample size is really small. And then I actually like Francisco Cervelli and Josh Bell here quite a bit. Musgrove is 7K on the other side. Not a great matchup as far as strikeouts go, but Musgrove is a good pitcher, and this is a solid price for him. So I know he disappointed, I believe it was the last time out, but I'm going right back to him for 7K. There's not a ton of guys to like up top, at least in my opinion. I mean, Verlander, of course. I like Verlander, but outside of him, I'm kind of dipping below this 9 and 8K range and getting some of these 7K, 6K, and even Fede in the 5K range guys. So I will have a good amount of Musgrove. Rays and Blue Jays, we have, I believe it's going to be Beeks going up against Sam Gaviglio. Gaviglio coming off that bicep soreness. I think he got hit with a ball on the bicep, so that's a little worrisome. He's 7K. I think I'd rather go to Musgrove. I just think Musgrove is a better pitcher at this point, but I don't think that will be reflected in the ownership. And then I really like Malik Smith here to run on Gaviglio. If he can get on 26 stolen bases for Malik Smith this year, and Gaviglio is one of the easiest guys to run on in the MLB. Even Tommy Pham, if he's in the lineup as well, I believe he's 4,500. Yeah, 4,500 for Pham. Two guys I think have quite a bit of upside in the form of stolen bases. And then Beeks is just a guy I like. He's got his his relief appearance shortened by weather, I believe, last time out in Atlanta. But I'm going right back to him. He just looks so much better than what we saw the first couple starts, getting chases, getting swinging strikes, and having the ability to go 4 or 5 innings and get up to 85, 90 pitches. So there are a lot of righties here. It's not a perfect matchup, but there are certainly some strikeouts to be had in this Toronto lineup, especially if McKinney's up top. You've got Grichuk and Smoke and Danny Jensen, Russell Martin. So I do like the matchup a little bit for Beeks. Phillies and Marlins, we have Jake Arrieta going up against Trevor Richards. Arrieta, 7,400. would think he gets some ownership here, but I'm just not an Arrieta fan. Like, he just goes a few starts in a row and doesn't miss any bats. Did it last time out against the Nationals, a swinging strike rate, I believe it was under 2. I'm much more interested in Trevor Richards on the other side for 7,300. Just a really good changeup. I think Richards has a chance to be a very good pitcher. Going to struggle against righties for now, at least, if he's going to throw the changeup to them. So Rhys Hoskins and Wilson Ramos are solid plays on the other side, and even Michael Franco. But I really, really like Richards here for 7,300, and I don't think he's going to be super highly owned, at least not when the initial ownership projections come out. Royals and Indians, we have Danny Duffy going up against Mike Clevinger. Not a game I love. I will be looking at the top 3 Indians, and specifically Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor, kind of getting a discount on them against Duffy here. Encarnacion for 4,800 is a nice add-on if you're going with a 3-man stack, or even Brantley for 4,200. Don't hate him lefty-lefty, so it's just going to be the top of this Cleveland lineup. And then Clevinger is 11K, and I think Clevinger is a really solid pitcher, but going to see 6 lefties maybe, 5 at least, and he's got big strikeout splits righty-lefty. I know the Royals are not a great team, to put it lightly, but Clevinger is only striking out 21% of lefties, 471 xFIP, more hard contact, higher whip, all that. So for 11K, I think I am going to be off of him. If I'm going up into this range, it's going to be to Justin Verlander, and I'm not really going to think twice about it. Boston and Atlanta, we have Rick Porcello going up against Sean Newcomb. Not interested in Porcello right off the bat. I like Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis quite a bit here. You're getting a discount at 4,500 and 4,100. Don't love targeting against the Boston bullpen. Acuna is a little bit too expensive, so I don't think I'm going to be getting to a lot of Atlanta. And then same with Newcomb. I think he's fine. Overall, not in this spot. I don't want to go up against Betts, JD, Steve Pearce, Bogarts with a lefty. Especially a lefty that can get pretty wild at times. So I'm on the Red Sox stack. 4.8 run total. I know they disappointed for the most part on Labor Day, but I will be going right back to them, especially Pearce for 3,800. Dual position eligibility. He's got to be one of the highest owned players on the slate, I would think. Angels and Rangers, we have Andrew Heaney going up against Mike Minor. Just a 10-run total here, which is lower than we've seen in Texas over the last few weeks. Heaney, 8,700. I want some righty power against him, but Beltre has kind of lost his power. Andrews hasn't been as good as he was last year. And I actually really, really like Jerkson Profar here. He's a guy I target against lefties, a 118 WRC plus against them, over 200 ISO. 354 on base percentage, grades out really well against Andrew Heaney for me. I don't know if I'll be getting to the full Texas stack, but there's certainly a case to be made. The Angels bullpen has been struggling lately, and there's just so much power on the Rangers. It's usually an ownership game with me for a team like that. Like to play them when they're low owned. I don't want to eat the chalk when they're going to be super chalky. And I mean, it's a decent total, 5.2 runs, but we've seen them around 6. Not too long ago, so maybe people have backed off playing Texas at chalk. Minor, 7,700. Don't want to play him here, not with a near 5-run total against him. Andrelton Simmons really sticks out to me outside of Trout and Upton. Definitely some interest in this Angels side as a full stack. The Rangers, another team with a bad bullpen. And you've got Fletcher up there for 3,500. I don't think he's a great hitter by any means, but going to put the ball in play. And Minor does give up a lot of quality contact to righties. Detroit and the White Sox, we've got Francisco Liriano going up against Lucas Giolito. Liriano, 4,900. He's off the table for me against 9 White Sox righties we're seeing here. I'm all over this White Sox stack. They're going to be one of the highest owned stacks on the day just because of their pricing. No one above 4,400. You've got Tim Anderson at shortstop, Jose Rondon at 3,800 dual position eligibility, Kevin Smith for 3,100 at catcher. They're going to be pretty easy to fit in, and it's a great matchup against Liriano. Giolito, 6,300. I got to give it to him. He's been just a ton better over his last 6 starts, striking out, I believe, at least 6 hitters in all of those games and having 4 or 5 really quality outings. Missing more bats. Super impressive what he did against the Red Sox. And I was watching that game. He looked good. And I was stacking against him. And maybe I need to back off stacking against Giolito. Especially with bad bats like the Tigers. This should be a matchup based on what he's done recently that he should be able to play well in. And so I'm kind of expecting that here. He's a full run favorite right now. Weather is a little bit worrisome, 85 degrees, but looks like some wind blowing in here in Chicago. So I am on Giolito as long as his ownership stays somewhat manageable. And by that I mean around 15, 20. I mean, 15 game slate, there are definitely other options if he's, 30, 35% in the Osmo.com ownership projections. Cubs and Brewers, we have Mike Montgomery going up against Wade Miley. Montgomery 6,400, Miley 6,600. Both of these guys pretty similar for me. Not anyone that I'm going to be looking to play on the 15-game slate. Honestly, I think both of them are a little bit overpriced. And they've got a lot of good hitters with power going against them. So I'm looking at righties on both sides here. Baez, Chris Bryant I love for 5,100. Wilson Contreras for 4,100 on the Cubs. And then on the Brewers side, Jesus Aguilar sticks out to me as one of my favorite plays against a soft-tossing Montgomery. Same with Lorenzo Cain. Braun will probably be chalked because he's 4,300, but I don't mind him in the stack. Same with Hernan Perez and Jonathan Scope for 4,200. So this one I like on both sides, and I'm hoping this one goes a little bit overlooked on the huge slate. Twins and Astros, we have, it looks like it's going to be Cole Stewart going up against Justin Verlander. So 2 guys that I have complete opposite takes on. I don't think Stewart has much, if anything, at the major league level at this point. Just a 6.7% swinging strike rate on the season for Stewart in his short sample, but we know that number stabilizes relatively quickly. A 545 xFIP, bunch of hard contact, few chases. He's not going to get strikeouts, and it's going to be really tough going up against this Astros team. Astros are a top 5 stack for me. They're going to be a top 5 stack for most people. Probably don't need to spend too much time on them here. I really like their lineup 1 through 9 going down to Reddick and even Brian McCann if he's in for only 3,300. So we'll talk more about the Astros tomorrow morning on the strategy video. All right, Coors Field, Giants at Rockies. We have Derek Rodriguez going up against Herman Marquez. Rodriguez, someone that I think has been a little bit fraudulent as of late. He's getting these strikeout numbers, not as much in his last game, only 3 strikeouts, but tons of hard contact, 41% for Rodriguez on the season. I think he's going to have a lot of trouble in Coors here, so I love the Rockies. And they're not even priced up. Like we see Arenado and Blackmon are the only 2 guys that are above 5K. Story below 5K at 4,800. LeMahieu 4,300. Carlos Gonzalez for 4,900. So not going to be too difficult to fit in the Rockies if you're not going the Verlander route, who, of course, everybody's going to love. Marquez 9,300. I think he's been one of the best pitchers in the MLB over the last month and a half or so. You can just see it in his game logs and his results coming off a 13 strikeout performance, but even before that, he's just getting a ton of swinging strikes, reaching 20% swinging strike rate, 17% in his last start. And he just looks like a really, really solid pitcher. And now he gets this Giants team who just lost McCutchen. So I'm on him here, even in Coors Field, even at this crazy high price. There's not a ton of guys that I have interest in. And I think he's going to make for a pretty fun pivot in GPPs off of Robbie Ray. Speaking of Robbie Ray, Padres and Diamondbacks, we have Joey Lucchesi against Robbie Ray. Lucchesi, 8K. Don't like targeting him here. Or I should say I don't like playing him here. I do like targeting bats against him. Pollock, Goldschmidt, and Steven Souza make for a really fun 1-2-3 stack. You can even add in Eduardo Escobar for 4,200 as well. And I want to see the ownership on these guys. I mean, Pollock's going to be owned because he's just above 4K and against the lefty, but I don't think the rest of these guys are going to be super highly owned. And I like the Arizona stack at a 4.7 run total against Lucchesi and the Padres pen. So Ray, under 9K, but I don't think people will be scared off of him. I just think people will see the Padres and lock Ray up, and he could certainly get strikeouts here. He just had a solid outing against the Dodgers. But I will caution, I guess I'll say he's going to be someone that is going to solely depend on projected ownership for me. If he's going to be 30% on a 15-gamer, I'll have Will Myers and Franmil Reyes and Hunter Renfroe as leverage bats against him. If Robbie Ray is 12, 15%, I'm much more likely to play him and be over the field. But I don't like playing Robbie Ray chalk all that much, especially at 9K. I mean, this isn't just a throwaway price like he was 7K against the Dodgers. If he was like that here, could tell you that he would almost certainly be chalk. But I guess we will see tomorrow morning the projected ownership for Ray, and then that's going to tell me at least what I'm going to do. Yankees and A's, we have J.A. Happ going up against Frankie Montas. Happ, someone I don't usually target against. I won't be doing it here, but I also won't be playing him. At 10-4, I think just too expensive against a team that I don't like taking pitchers against as of late. Oakland's not striking out as much. They're hitting for more power. They're getting on base more. You look at their numbers against lefties, it's a 21% K rate over the last month with a 121 WRC plus. And then Montas, I think I was on him last time out because he was pitching in Oakland and he was cheap and you needed someone on that slate. But if he's going here for Oakland, there's no way I'm getting to him even for 6K against this Yankees team who just added McCutchen. They have Hicks in there, Stanton, of course, Gardner leading off, and then they just got back Sanchez. This looks a lot like the lineup outside of Judge that we saw earlier in the season. So no Montas, and I even like a Yankees stack with a few of those guys that I mentioned. Baltimore and Seattle, we've got Alex Cobb going up against Wade LeBlanc. Cobb is 5,900, LeBlanc 8,400. This one is maybe the least interesting game on the slate. I've respected what Cobb has done as of late. I'll play Nelson Cruz against him. I'll play Robinson Cano. But outside of that, I don't really want to play a stack in Seattle that's probably going to have some ownership because it is a 5-run total. Not a lot of respect for Cobb, but it's also that Orioles pen is why you're getting to a 5-run total for the Mariners. LeBlanc, 8,400. Just a complete avoid. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say complete avoid. He's not going to be someone I force out of my player pool, but I mean, at that price, I don't think he can really have a chance to kill me like how Lofty was talking about on the process show on Monday. What are the odds Wade LeBlanc kills you at 8,400? Even if he gets 20, there's going to be 5 other pitchers around his price range that do that same thing. So, not on LeBlanc. Not really on the Baltimore bats either. Last game of the night, Mets and Dodgers, one of my favorite stacks in this game. As you can imagine, Jason Vargas going up against Rich Hill. So let's start with Hill first. I think he's a fine option. I think he's safe. The Mets have been one of the worst teams against lefties over the season, over the last month, regardless of whatever time span you look at. They're just not a good team against lefties. They're going to be rolling out Conforto and Nimmo and Bruce, it looks like. So even better, Vargas is a lefty and just not a good hitter. So Rich Hill, I think he's got one of the best chances at 20, 25 points here. But again, I don't think he's going to be someone that kills me if I fade at 10K. Jason Vargas, I think one of the worst pitchers on the slate. And what I'd like to see here for the Dodgers is that they put in a lefty or two, because I think that will lower the ownership. People hate playing lefty-lefty, and Vargas is bad against both sides. And actually, especially lefties, a 5.04 xFIP, 28% line drive rate almost, a 162 whip. Like, he's just not good against lefties. So if they sneak in a Muncy, or, I don't know, is Bellinger hurt? He's not in the projected lineup. But anyways, if they find a lefty or two in there, I mean, I want a full stack for the Dodgers regardless. I think they're going to bludgeon Jason Vargas here. But I hope that there's some lefties in there so I can get low-owned parts of the Dodgers stack, in addition to guys like Turner and Machado and Dozier, who I all expect to be pretty popular here. All right, that's going to do it for the night shift, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. 15 games, lots to talk about, ton of content coming your way. It's a great time to be an Osmo.com premium subscriber. Hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions, or come in the chat tomorrow morning and you can ask them, give us some talking points. We'll go through crunches and everything. Good luck, guys. See you in the morning.